Namaste children. How are you all? We met in the virtual class. I felt very happy. You interacted very well. So I am very happy children. Now, shall we go to the lesson? Yes. In this last class we discussed reproduction lesson. Okay. In the reproduction, what we discussed, the differences between asexual and sexual reproduction, and asexual methods also we discussed, like binary fission, multiple fission, budding. So these three methods we discussed. Now, and I also gave sexual reproduction. What do you mean by sexual reproduction and what is a hermaphrodite? All these things I gave. Now, come to the today's lesson, reproduction lesson. And before going to the today's topic, I wanted to tell you one more point, that fertilization. What do you mean by fertilization? Fusion of male and female gametes to form zygote is called fertilization. Okay. Now, what is male gamete? Male gamete is sperm. What is female gamete? Egg or ova is the female gamete. Now, we will come to know what are these things, so where it will produce, all these things we will learn now in the next class. So now fusion, so the sperm and egg will fuse. See, here I have written sperm plus egg will form zygote. The zygote will grow into baby. So this is actually the process of sexual reproduction. Now, to continue this process for the production of sperm, for the production of egg and the fusion of these things, different animals will follow different methods. So these methods will be called as reproductive patterns. What do you call? Reproductive patterns. I think I am teaching slowly. You can follow me. Now, in this reproductive patterns, there are three types of reproductive patterns. The one is external fertilization and external development. Both external. Now, here again come under this word fertilization. Fertilization means what? Fertilization and fusion of male and female gametes to form a zygote. So, external fertilization and external development. The baby, the zygote will grow into a baby now. So, that process takes place outside the body of the female. So, that method is called external fertilization and external development. Now, this all I will explain. Just let me explain the headings. Then second one is what? Internal fertilization and external development. Fertilization will take place inside the body of the female. But where? The development will take place external. External. So, that method is second one. Internal fertilization, external development. Then third one is what? Internal fertilization and internal development. Reverse to this first one. If you see that, it is reverse to the first one. Is it clear, children? Now shall I start each one explanation? So, I will start explaining each one. External fertilization. Here, the male will release sperm into the water, and at the same time the female release the ova into the water. So, both will fuse and forms zygote. So, zygote, where zygote will form? In the water. And the zygote will grow into babies. Generally, this takes place in example is frog. I think you might have observed tadpoles. So, the zygote will grow into tadpole. Tadpole will grow in the water, swims in the water for 7 weeks. Then slowly the tadpole will convert into frog. Now here one point is there. To fulfill external fertilization and external development, one condition is required. What is that? Both male and female at the same time and at the same place and more amount of gametes they have to produce. If these three things are fulfilled, then only the external fertilization and external development takes place. Okay, example is frog. Then come to internal fertilization and external development. Here what happens? Fertilization takes place inside the body of the female. The sperm will go inside the female body and it will fuse and forms into zygote. The zygote grows into baby actually, but in the zygote stage egg will form. The egg will be laid by the animal and it will be hatched outside. So example, all the egg laying animals. All the egg laying animals, example hen. All the birds, not only hen, all the birds, reptiles. Reptiles means snake, lizard, crocodile, all these animals. Next, what else? Insects. Insects like a butterfly, mosquitoes, all these animals will lay eggs. The eggs will grow into hatch outside the body of the female. So this is called internal fertilization and external development. Next, internal fertilization and internal development. What will happen inside the body of the female? Inside the female body, fusion takes place, zygote will form. The zygote grows into baby. Like how we all born. Example, human beings, all the mammals, you can call all the mammals, like elephant, dog, cat, all these animals will come under this type. Which one? Internal fertilization and internal development. All the mammals. Is it clear, children? Okay, good.
External fertilization. In many animals, fertilization takes place outside the body of the female. In these animals, fertilization takes place in water. Let us find out how this happens. During spring or rainy season, frogs and toads move to ponds and slow-flowing streams. When the male and female come together in water, the female lays hundreds of eggs. Unlike hen's egg, frog's egg is not covered by a shell, and it is comparatively very delicate. A layer of jelly holds the eggs together and provides protection to the eggs. As the eggs are laid, the male deposits sperms over them. Each sperm swims randomly in water with the help of its long tail. The sperms come in contact with the eggs. This results in fertilization. This type of fertilization, in which the fusion of a male and a female gamete takes place outside the body of the female, is called external fertilization. It is very common in aquatic animals such as fish, starfish, etc.
Based on the reproduction, the organisms are classified into two types. They are oviparous and viviparous. Ovi, see, O I encircled. O means egg, remember egg. So they will lay eggs. Those animals, the animals which lay eggs are called oviparous animals. The animals which give direct birth to young ones are called viviparous. So oviparous and viviparous. Now according to the previous reproductive patterns, you can say that internal fertilization and internal development. The organisms which undergoes internal fertilization and internal development will be called as viviparous animals. Okay, so viviparous animals. Examples: human beings. I have mentioned, human beings, elephant, dog, cat, all these animals. Here, oviparous animals. Previously I mentioned, what? Example: insects, amphibians. Next, reptiles. All these, right? Next, here one more point I wanted to tell you, because next lesson, next topic I will teach reproductive organs of male and female. So before going to that, this point also I wanted to complete. Now you see, zygote will form. How zygote will form? By the fusion of sperm and egg. Zygote will form. Now first stage of the developmental stage of the zygote is, first one is zygote. Zygote is a single celled structure. Single cell. Next it forms embryo, means in the cell repeatedly cell divisions takes place and a ball. So many cells, with so many cells, a ball-like structure will form. This stage is called embryo. Next, fetus. Fetus will have differentiated body parts, hands, legs, nose, all these body parts will be formed. That stage is called a fetus. Next, after the delivery, the baby will be called as, the newborn baby will be called as infant. So how many stages are there? 4 stages are there. First one is zygote, embryo, fetus and infant. Right children? Okay, good.